Hey, everybody, welcome to the Art and Science of Retirement. My name is Grant Ellis, and I'm the host of the show. I'm also the founding member and managing principal of Ellis Retirement Services. We are a retirement financial advisory firm out of Germantown, Tennessee, but we work with clients all across the country. So you're probably thinking the same thing that I was thinking. Why in the world, Grant, do we need one more show about retirement and money? Well, guess what? That's a good question. I don't know if I have a great answer for you, but we're going to do the show anyway. And here's why. Is first of all, I like it. I think we should do things that we enjoy doing in life. And one of the things I like to do is having conversations about money and life. So we're going to do the show and see if anybody watches it or listens to it. That's okay. My mom probably will, and I will be grateful for that. But really, where this comes from is I've now been doing this for 20 years. After doing this for 20 years, I get lots of questions from people that we work with and people that I run across just in my day to day life about money and investments and finances and all the fun things that go along with that. And what I found is the questions tend to repeat themselves, and that people have the same concerns and fears and excitements and issues and all the things that come with trying to manage their money and their life. And so I thought it might be helpful if we could answer some of those questions via a show. And that's what we're going to do here. So the goal of this is just to provide as much value to you all as we possibly can. I want to answer as many questions as I possibly can and dig into the details. I think when it comes to finances and money, there are too many unknowns in people's heads, and there are good reason for that. First of all, you're not supposed to know everything about this. You're not supposed to understand all of the nuances of investment strategies and financial planning and protection elements and estate planning and taxation. I don't know everything about what you do. It wouldn't be logical. We expect people to know too much, and it's just not doable. So there comes a point at time in most people's lives when they go, you know what? I have more questions than answers. And that often is when they come to a financial advisor or a financial advisory team like ours and say, hey, is there any possible way that we could have a discussion and you could help me out? But here's the problem. There's a big divide there that you have to cross of putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, asking questions of somebody, and not really understanding whether or not they're going to be able to help you solve those problems. Because just like in any industry, the financial advice industry has many, many different types of people doing many, many different types of things. Also, with this show, I want to help uncover what financial advisors do, who we do it for, and how we do it, so that if you get to that point when you do want to have a conversation with an advisor, you have some idea of what to expect and what to look out for. I love telling people, hey, I don't think you need a financial advisor, which my sales team probably thinks is crazy. But reality is our goal is to help people get where they need to be. Sometimes that's working with an advisor and sometimes it's not. And that is completely okay. So let's talk about retirement, what we do and who we do it for. Retirement is one of those loaded terms. Everything in finance is about terminology. And the reality is most of the terminology gives everyone a different picture in their head about what that word means. And retirement is definitely one of those words, right? So if I just said, if I'm your therapist and we sat down and I said, hey, here's this word retirement, please tell me what comes into your head the minute you see this word, it would be very, very different for most people. So some people, it would be, oh, there's a boat and you're on the boat and you're sailing off into the sunset and your boss and all your employee friends or former employee friends are behind you and you're waving at them, and you're going to sail off and have a great time doing whatever it is you do in Del Boca Vista in Florida, right? For some people, that's retirement. For other people, it's very, very different. And the reality is retirement is work optional, and then a phase in life where you get to choose what you want to do. And hopefully you have the resources to do that. But with all the excitement that comes from retirement, right? Of being able to lean into hobbies and maybe part-time work that you've wanted to do or pursue a passion project, it also has a lot of fears for many people about how am I supposed to handle taxation? How am I supposed to pay myself? What do I do with this IRA? What do I do with this 401k? How do I sign up for Medicare? How does all of this work? And for many, many people, all those questions create uncertainty and even anxiety. And that's usually when people come to us is they say, listen, I have too many questions. It makes me nervous. It's freaking me out. And I need somebody to help me out. And that's where we come in. And we do that for all different types of people. We talk about the phases of life and we help people plan through and into the different phases of life. So if you're early on and you've got a family, you're planning for college and kids and all of those things, we help you plan for those things. And then we use tools and investments that we have access to help you implement on those goals and timelines, right? So the first step for us is always hearing someone's story. And it sounds cliche also, but that's what we need to do is go, listen, tell us why us and why now and what you're looking to accomplish. What does success in this relationship look like for you? Because that's really what's important. What we don't want people to think is that we're here to put an agenda on them. the opposite is true. We want to know what you want, and we will be the ones to tell you, hey, I think we can help you get there, and this is how we're going to do it. And then we also have people who are in that retirement stage who are like, listen, I've got a lot of questions. I need help getting all this done. The majority of people we work with have done a good job saving. Oftentimes they've saved somewhere in the range of 500,000 to about $5 million in assets. And I know that might sound like a lot of money, and it is. Just based on the nature of the work we do, there are definitely people who are on the lower end of that or even below it, and people on the upper end or above that. But that's typically the range of the type of people that we work with, just based on our service model and what we do for our clients. We also are big fans of like, hey, we'll have a conversation with anyone. So we don't want anyone to feel like they can't reach out to us because they don't have enough money. We will have that conversation with you. We'll help you determine what the best fit. And sometimes that means, hey, let's give you some resources that you can look at and really dig in on your own and implement some things in your financial life. And sometimes that might even be pointing you to a different financial advisor because, again, if you think about the way that physicians work, you've got different types of physicians that specialize in different things. So you go to this guy if you need your knee worked on, you go to this lady if you need a general practitioner, and everything in between. Financial advisors are very much the same way. So we are planning focused, meaning we start with what are your goals and objectives and how do we get there? And then we use the tools such as investments and protective elements to help you get to those objectives, not the other way around. So for anybody we work with, we're going to be working with the whole person. I like to describe it as being your personal CFO. We're going to talk to you about your estate planning. We're going to talk to you about your taxation. We're going to handle your insurance and risk protection. We're going to look into your budgeting and cash flow. We're also going to use investments to help us meet these goals and help you plan for the future. So it's definitely a holistic approach, as cliche as that sounds. If it fits well with you, we'd love to invite you to reach out and have a discovery conversation. I love hearing people's stories. All that means is we can jump on a Zoom call, 15 or 30 minutes, just give me the rundown or somebody from my team, and we'll help you figure out whether it's a good time to work with an advisor or not, and whether or not we might be able to help. So if you'd like to have that conversation, feel free to reach out. Our website is ellisretirement.com, and you can also just shoot us an email, which is ellisretirement@lpl.com. But the goal of this show is to provide as much value to you as the listener or watcher as we possibly can. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to answer questions and we're going to walk through case studies of specific things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that we think other people might deal with as well. And we're going to help you think through how you might want to handle these and how we would handle these as financial advisors. So hopefully it's helpful for you. Hopefully it's not just one more show about money that you don't want to listen to. And if not, that's okay. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out and we will talk to you next time.